Welcome back to channel. Today we are going to see the botulinum. Actually, the botulinum has got its names because of the sausage, because sausage is known as botulinum. And this botulinum is a gram-positive large rods. The spores are oval, subterminal in position and wider than the cells. This botulinum they cause mainly the food poisoning as presenting as a paralytic disease, and botulinum means sausage, which is poorly cooked sausages were first formed with this food poisoning agents, and it's a saprophyte, that is the spores are widely distributed in the soil, animal manure, vegetables, sea, mud, etc. And the morphological features of this botulinum are they're motile by peritracheous flagellae. All over the body, the peritracheous flagellae is present. You can see the flagellae-like structure. So they are motile by that, and they are non-capsulated, no capsule around them. Spore bearing, we know that was we are discussing. They form the spores, that is subcentral position. You can see in the subcentral position. And the characters are they are strictly anaerobic, that is obligatory anaerobes, only in the absence of oxygen they can grow, and they can grow at 1 to 5 degrees Celsius in ordinary media like nutrient agar is enough for this, and even it may grow in the blood agar, RCM, and lactose egg yolk milk agar, and the colony develops 48 hours after the incubation. And blood agar, the colonies are hemolytic in the blood agar, and in RCM medium what happens is after 2 to 4 days the blackening of the meat appears because of the breakdown of the meat and the production of the gas. This is important. The botulinum produces the gas. So in the tin canned items, tin canned meats, what happens whenever they are not sterilized, not cooked properly, these spores may enter there and they cause the conversion into gas, and they may bulge out, causing a leaving a foul smell behind. And actually the biochemical reactions are of this botulinum are they ferment the glucose and maltose with the production of acid and gas, and they also produce the H2S. And biochemically these are of two types, that is a proteolytic type and saccharolytic type. Proteolytic types are mainly the type A, B, F, and the saccharolytic type are mainly C, D, E. So what are these types actually? The botulinum has the types identified based on its antigenic component. The toxin is antigenic, and the antigenicity, because of this the 7 antigenically different groups are found of toxins are found, that is from A to G, and let the ABF are proteolytic and CDE are saccharolytic. And one more doubt arises that these spores are whether resistant or not. Yes, they are resistant, highly resistant. They can survive up to 100 degrees Celsius for several hours, and the spores of type B, E and F are somewhat less resistant. Also, they are resistant to alcohol, radiation, phenols, and also quaternary ammonium compounds. So they are very strong spores, hence they are causing a very much infectious agents to us, and they're relatively susceptible to the hypochlorite and also ethylene oxide and formaldehyde. So why these are so resistant? Because to cause many infections. In the nature of the toxin, how the toxin is, they are exotoxins, mainly the protein in nature, and the toxins differ from that is released on the death and autolysis of the organism, and not during the life of the organism mainly. And these toxins are highly potent, that is 1 mg is enough to kill the 1 million guinea pigs. So vast amount, only 1 mg can kill the 1 million guinea pigs. And it's a neurotoxin mainly which acts slowly. So what is the neurotoxin is? It's bind to specifically to the motor nerve end plates and blocks the calcium mediated release and production of the acetylcholine at the synapse. We know the neuromuscular junction, there is a synapse between a nervous end and a motor end, that is muscle end. So it stops the production of acetylcholine and the neuromuscular junctions and preventing the contraction, causing the flaccid and paralysis, that is nothing but causing the relaxation of the muscles. And it is relatively heat stable and resistant to some intestinal digestion, and destroyed only after 30 to 40 minutes at 80 degrees and 10 minutes in 100 degrees. So whatever the food may be, meat or anything, it should be cooked properly in a very high temperature, and boiling for 20 minutes also destroy the toxin in the foodstuff. And coming to the pathogenesis, the botulinum causes botulism. The spores are widespread in soil, rotten vegetable and meat. So when these food are canned or vacuum packed without adequate sterilization, as you know, their vacuum packed means anaerobic conditions. They are favoring the anaerobic conditions so they can easily grow. The spores survive, germinate in the anaerobic environment which is favorable to them. And this pathogenicity is mainly divided into three types, that is foodborne botulism, wound-borne botulism, and infant botulism. So foodborne botulism is mainly by eating this all kind of food. That is, the symptoms begin after 12 to 36 hours of the ingestion, and the symptoms are like vomiting, thirst, constipation, difficulty in swallowing, also known as dysphagia, respiratory muscle failure, leading to sometimes death also. It is fatal. The fatality rate is 20 to 70%. And coming to the wound botulism, so actually this is the infection of the wound with the spore germination production of the toxin at the site, leading to the botulism at that site. So the symptoms are like same like foodborne botulism, except for gastrointestinal systems which are absent in this case. And infant botulism is the most common thing. This is because takes place in the infant when the infant is feeded with the honey, especially the infants below 6 months. The infection occurs by ingestion of containing spores. So organisms in the gut and produce the toxins. So from where these toxins are coming, mainly from the honey containing organisms, is most likely the cause. So the infant botulism is characterized by the constipation, poor feeding, lethargy, weakness, pooled oral secretions, weak or altered cry, floppiness, and also loss of head control. Now you can see the virulence factors that a botulinum toxin is absorbed from the gut. So the most toxic substance one, preventing muscle contraction, causing persistent muscle relaxation. And the clinical findings: a weakness, paralysis of the muscles including the respiratory muscle failure. In the laboratory diagnosis is by specimens we may use fecus food, and in microscopy we use the gram stain. We know it's a gram positive bacteria in the food smears, and culture the bacilla may be isolated from the food or the feces. Actually in toxin demonstration we have these are found in food or feces and occasionally in patient's blood or in liver postmortem, and this toxin can be demonstrated in food by saline infiltration and extracted, and by inoculating to the mice or the guinea pig intraperitoneally, and the test animal dies if the toxin is present. However, the control protected with polyvalent antitoxin remains healthy. And clinical findings are, we have found it, and laboratory diagnosed botulinum detected in the uneaten food is of strong diagnostic sign. The rod is usually not cultured. And the principles of prevention and treatment is prevention by food must be adequately cooked to inactivate the toxins. Swollen cans must be discarded. Treatment antitoxin must be given along with respiratory support and good nursing. So treatment, actually the trivalent antitoxin is given mainly to A, B, E types, which is administered along with respiratory support, and supportive therapy by maintenance of respiration. And prevention, so proper canning, preservation of packed foods, active immunization with toxin in risk groups. So this is all about botulinum toxins.